Still out here by the woodshed where you beat me all the time. So we got an email from a female who we will keep nameless in this video. But the subject line was prepping from the female side. And she said, I'm prepping for family, which are not 100% on board, which will be the first thing that we'll address. And she said, I'm working on food, water, medical, etc., which is good. And she said, my biggest issue is my health is not great. I'm 50, have 3 different autoimmune disorders, and due to big problems or big pharma drugs and eye activity, which I'm guessing was a typo, I've gained 90 pounds over the last 12 years. Just had knee replacement in December. I'm wondering if I'm wasting time and energy in doing this on my own. Any advice? So, and it says, prepping from the female side. So, you're here.
Yeah.
Because you're my resident female.
True.
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 Yeah, at least for the last 8 years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
So are you.
I'm not a female.
No, but you're welcome.
Oh.
For me being here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, anyway, let's get started.
Okay, so you said you wanted to touch on the 100% not on board.
Yeah. So, as far as getting your family 100% on board, good luck. It doesn't happen that way. What you can do is lead by example without your tinfoil hat on, okay? Preppers have a terrible rap, which is why I don't even really love the word. In fact, there have been times in my life that I have just outright railed against the word. I don't like the word prepper because of the connotation that it brings. When people say, I'm a prepper, most people think that they have a stockpile of guns somewhere and they have a tinfoil hat on and they...
Oh, you're one of those crazy conspiracy theorists.
The best words. Tremendous, tremendous. Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of conspiracies out there that I can totally get behind, but discretion, right? Mm-hmm. Logic. So, point being, don't act crazy. And I'm not saying you are, but what I am saying is the perception of people like us is that we're crazy. Right. And so, they very rarely, I don't know a single family where everybody's on board.
No. And use rational explanations.
I was going to say
not necessarily like, oh, SHTF's going to happen. What?
Florida.
Use Florida. Job loss.
Mm-hmm.
Health.
Yeah.
Declining. Those are all reasons to prep from a logical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So use those types of reasons when people ask you, why do you do what you do?
The other thing too is, like, there's a lot of different reasons why people prep, right? And there's a lot of different interests within the preparedness community. Like grandma's aspect of prepping is like cooking from scratch and growing food in the garden.
Right.
Grandma's not going to go grab her 308 battle rifle with her 10 power unidal scope first focal plane and figure out what the spin drift is going to be so she can engage targets at 900 meters. Not going to happen, right? That's not her thing, right? So these people in your life who are like, yeah, whatever, Ma, you're crazy. It's like there's something that they like to do. Maybe it's welding and fabricating. Okay, they're mechanically inclined. They like to build things. Good, touch on that. Hey, would you help me build a rainwater collection system or whatever? Mm-hmm. But nobody's 100% on board. There's people in our family. 8 years ago when we first met, I was the crazy prepper. Like, everybody was like, whatever, dude. But because I had lived the life that I had lived, I had a conviction to be ready for something because I knew firsthand what it looks like when you depend on the government for help. So after, I mean, you've only been on board for a couple years?
Yeah, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 years.
I don't even think it's 4. I'd say 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
that she's gone from, you know, tolerating it to being actively involved. And then, like, your mom has now come on board. But she's still in the infancy of her, you know, preparedness experience.
Right.
Your uncles acknowledge that, yeah, hey, man, it'd be good. Doesn't mean they're doing anything about it yet, but hey, man, yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
So, you know, and my mom is like my mom told me while I was down there visiting, she has gone through sheer force of will and concentrated effort, gone from a month's worth of her life-saving medicine to a year. That's awesome. And we'll get into that because autoimmune disease, my mom is completely medically dependent. Okay? She will die without medication. And that's been a topic of conversation that, okay, we have one good month with grandma, my mom, before she starts going downhill. That sucks. Well, we need to make the best of that month. And that's terrible to think about, but you have to think about that.
Right.
Well, she's taken it upon herself to incrementally, one bite at a time, to start eating the elephant. And now, in short order, she's got a year's worth of medicine. That's awesome. It's not ideal. It's not in perpetuity, but man, a year is 12 times better than a month.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. So, okay. So,
To answer the rest of the question, your health and weight. You've got to focus on you before you can help others.
positions of strength.
So, like, I just saw a thing about carrying weight on your knees, and it's like for every pound of weight is like 50 pounds of pressure or something like that on your knee joints. So with gaining weight and having a knee replacement, you've got to keep your weight in check. And I don't know your personal story, so, you know, you say because of big pharma, drugs, and activity, myself, I suffer from postural orthostatic
Tachycardia syndrome, also known as POTS.
Right.
Which is great because people are like, what does your wife have? And you're like, POTS. And they're like, oh, she's a stoner. Oh. And you're like, no. No, it's a heart thing. So when I first got diagnosed with it, my activity level plummeted. Like, I was terrified to do anything because it's basically like increased heart rate. The longer I stand up, the higher my heart rate goes up. To the point that I'll pass out, black out, whatever. And doing activity as simple as like walking up the stairs would cause me to feel like I had just ran a marathon. I would like literally immediately want to go lay down and take a nap. And so my activity level ceased for, it was probably like 6-8 months. And I'm not that person. I'm not the person that's going to lay in bed all day. And I took control and said, this is not who I'm going to be. I'm going to get better. I don't know how. I don't know why. But I'm not going to be that person. And I don't want my kids growing up seeing me like this. And so I took it upon myself to diet, to do little exercises as I could until I eventually built myself up.
And it wasn't easy. There were days that I overdid it, and I'd tell T, I gotta go lay down. Like, I can't do this anymore. I am exhausted. But I did it. And I think that's, for you, is going to be a huge, huge thing, is you've got to figure out what's going to work for you. And you have to get in the mindset that is not who you are.
Yep.
You're not going to let yourself be overweight, because with already having one knee replacement, if you keep it up, you're going to end up needing another.
So I want to touch on a few things here. First is, you ask at the very end of this, you say, is this even worth doing? Should I even be doing this? Yes. You're here for a reason, okay? And if we're going to boil this down, the essence of life from tree sap into syrup is this: you are here to serve your creator, period, the end. And he put you here in 4-dimensional space-time with all of that going on, with all of your issues going on, for a reason.
Right.
Okay? So why are you here? To serve him. How? What do you have? As Scott Brooks' fingernail likes to say to me, what do you have in your hand? For me, it's an iPhone, and I hate the fact that I can use an iPhone to do this, and it's beneficial to people, because it feels so cheap sometimes, like that an iPhone can do this. Well, it's not the iPhone doing it, it's the Father doing it. So what do you have? What can you do? What can you do right now where you are in 4-dimensional space-time to actually serve your creator, to actually benefit others? And what you'll find is you have a mission, okay? And when you get outside of the perspective of you and you start looking at your mission, you doesn't matter anymore. You are just the vehicle to accomplish the mission. So that's the first thing that I would say. Should I be doing this? Absolutely, you should be doing this. And it's not an accident that you're here. It's not a coincidence, okay? There's reasons that both of us should be dead, and yet we're still here. Okay, there's reasons probably that you should be dead, and yet you're still here. Well, the Father didn't preserve any of us so we could sit around and wonder what the big questions, what's the meaning of life? Right. He showed you. You're here. You owe him. Pay him back with your actions, okay? With the love in your heart, pay him back. So, and then I would also encourage you to look at incremental gains over time. Little tiny victories every day add up to huge victories in the macro. So, I don't like cardio. I hate cardio. My rule for running is, if there's something chasing me that can kill me, I'll think about it. But usually it's pivot, put rounds on target. That's my there's something chasing me that can kill me rule, okay? But 4, 5, 6 times a week, I'm putting a rucksack on and I'm going wide open around this property, miles every morning. Push-ups, pull-ups, leg lifts, crunches. And in 3.5 months, I've lost 44 pounds. Now, maybe you can't do that yet. Right. But you can do something. DDPY is awesome. Look up DDP yoga. It's freaking awesome. It's hard. It's hard. Try it.
Get a stationary bike.
Get a stationary.
Get a stair stepper. I mean, it's the little things will add up, but you can't just give up and say, this is the way I'm gonna be.
And I would encourage you strongly to set some goals. Okay, a 2-week goal or goals, a 6-month goal or goals, and then find somebody to be accountable to. Like I would say, and identify what are the friction points in your life. Like, I will just say, I hate the way these pants fit. Okay, 2-week goal. Honey, within 2 weeks, I'm going to have a plan to make these pants fit better. 6-month goal, I'm going to actuate that plan for 6 months. And in 6 months, I won't even fit into these pants anymore. I'll need new ones, okay? Or whatever. but 2 week, 6 month goal, and then the accountability that when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, that there's somebody that you've designated and you tell them up front, get up in my business.
Right.
I'm going to shun you. I'm going to ignore you. I'm probably going to try and lie to you. This is going to be uncomfortable, but I need you to call me on my BS. Okay? And when I'm having a great day, I'm going to tell you. And when I'm having a terrible day, I'm going to tell you. And if you haven't heard from me in 3 days, it's on you. I'm begging you, regardless of what I tell you, to show up and kick me in my derriere to get me motivated. And I have a rule with all of my people that I do accountability with, because there's several. We're up to about a half a dozen now, which is awesome. You can miss a day. You can't miss 2.
Right.
You cannot miss 2 in a row. Okay? You can miss 1 day. You can't miss 2. And that looks different for different people. You know, there's some people that I work with that 6 days a week they're going, right? And I try and hit 6 days a week. I don't do any, I do not exercise on Shabbat. Okay? I rest my body. But 6 days a week, I'm trying to do something, whether it's calisthenics or cardio or something. There's other guys, they go to the gym 3 times a week. Okay, well, that means that it's not that, well, you went to the gym Monday, you have to go Tuesday, but it's, you better go Wednesday, and if you don't go Wednesday, you better be there Friday. Okay, so you can miss 1, you can't miss 2. But you need to, and this is huge about how we do things around here. You have to meet anxiety with action. You have to do something. Start taking control again. Okay, big pharma messed you up. How do you fix that? How do you reverse engineer that? I get the autoimmune disease. My mom has no adrenal gland. She has no pituitary gland and only half of an adrenal gland. 1.5 of her adrenals are gone. Her body makes like 0 chemicals. So when I say that she's chemically dependent, medically dependent, she is, because her body doesn't produce them anymore. Okay? And that is the result of, in large part, big pharma early on in her life. And now it takes big pharma to keep her alive. But when she first came to Texas, she was on 20-something different medications. I'm like, Ma, I don't care who says what, that can't be healthy.
Right, you're taking something to fix a side effect of some other thing that you're taking.
Right.
And it's just a downward, it's a downward cycle.
And she's on 4 or 5 now. Go
Right.
yell at that boy.
What, Bob?
So, and here's the other thing, right? If your doctor's like, listen, man, just not gonna happen, wrong doctor. Wrong doctor. Okay, I got this. If your doctor's like, listen, man, wrong doctor, or ain't gonna happen, you have the wrong doctor. My mom was told 20 years ago, you got a year to live. And I told her, I said, Ma, if you think you have a year to live, you have a year to live. Think you have more than a year? You do. That was 20 years ago. My mom's still here, by the hand of the Most High. So, you know, you want to, and you know what we did? We kept finding doctors until we found a doctor who was like, yeah, we'll figure this out. We'll figure it out. And the first surgeries my mom had, there were 714 doctors in attendance, because what she has is so rare that nobody knew anything about it. So the first surgery she had at the National Institute of Health, Bethesda, Maryland, there were 714 doctors watching. But it took us, sheer force of will, we're going to find somebody who says Ma has more than a year to live. And we did. And so there's hope, sister. There's hope. And if you're trying to find all of it from in here, it'll never happen, because it doesn't work that way. He fills us up here. And then when we get filled up and overflowing here, then we can go out in the world and do the other things. Fill other people up, okay? Effect change on target. So any advice? You said, I'm wondering if I'm wasting time, energy in doing this on my own. Any advice? In doing this on my own, Yeah, it would be better. It'd be much better if you had people helping you. So look for people. If they're not your own family, look for people. Family is who you let them be, okay? I have lots of family that I'm not genetically connected to, but I have much deeper relationships with them than I do with lots of people that I am genetically connected to. Family's what you make of it. Go find some new family. And I know it's not easy. None of this is easy, but it's simple. You just don't give up. Just decide right now, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever it is, I'm doing it. If you think you can't, you're right. And if you think you can, you're right. Sheer force of will. Just unequivocally, I don't know how to fail. I'm gonna do it. And this will be the bow that we tie on this conversation. If you don't know what to do the next right thing. That's your order of operations. What's the next right thing? Get out of bed. Check. Brush teeth. Check. Put on clothes. Check. Make coffee. Check. Go to work. Check. Right? Not kill boss. Check. Right? Work your way down the line. Create space in your life that will allow you to maneuver on the things that you need to maneuver on. Okay? You can do this. You really can do it. You just need to decide here that you're gonna. And it's not easy when nobody else believes in what you're doing. Find some people who believe, okay? I have an awesome little sign inside my house that was given to us by a dear friend that says, your vibe attracts your tribe. It does. So, you can do it. You got anything you want to add? The wife had to change a hiney. Huh? I was just talking about things. Come on, Eskimo. Give this lovely lady your final thoughts on her situation. Tell her what you think. Especially knowing you have no idea what I just said. So, I like this. Go ahead.
The biggest thing would just be
Kill your roosters.
I mean, part of preparing would be preparing yourself. And you know, especially if the people that you are preparing for are younger in nature, like they need you. So you've got to make yourself a priority as well as your preps. And that'd be about it. Like, you got to take care of you.
Good answer. Cool. Thanks for changing that butt.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Shalom.
Shalom.